The next one I think is the saddest minute of the movie.
Oh, you're gonna have a hard time, Pete.
Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones, Indiana It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Tom Taylor.
And no one wants to be me.
That's
I'm
true.
Jerry Porter,
There you go.
intern.
And we are here to discuss minute 10 of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Minute 10 begins with Indy miraculously pulling himself from certain doom and ends with our old friend Barranca having found darts with even fresher poison than merely 3 days old. Sorry to say. Hats off, Pete. I'm sorry.
If I
A
were
moment of
watching this
silence.
movie really 10 minutes at a time, like 1 minute at a time, I would be really confused right now because it seems like the hero of the story has just died. And I'll be curious how Spielberg kind of brings this movie back to earth.
He's this movie's Janet Leigh from Psycho. You didn't see that coming, did you?
I didn't.
Poor Barranca. Well, before we get there, I always said before that the coolest thing in the movie is finding Forrestal. Maybe cooler, or at least as cool, is Indy almost running into Satipo, embedded on a series of spikes. And that's what happens when you cross Indiana Jones. Sorry, Jerry.
Yeah, I know. Did he? There is what's crazy is I want to know: did he die because he stepped into the light? Like they're quote back in the hallway or wherever
Yeah.
they are, because they show Forrestal.
Wait, do you
right
literally
before
mean
that
the
minute.
light, or are you being like spiritual or metaphysical?
No, I'm saying literally the light. Like, are
All
those?
right.
What is it they killed him? Because Forrestal got skewered by this thing that kind of, I don't know. It seems like a gate or something comes
Yeah.
like careening down, like, and then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so how did Satipo die? Did he die
Yeah.
from the same? Like he stepped into the light, and there was another sort of
Yeah, he's on
trident-looking
a
thing, or
separate set of spikes.
Is it a set? See, I have no idea. I don't know if I tried to convince myself as a kid that he just like flat out ran into them, that they were still out from when Forrestal popped out, and they just like forgot about him and ran into him.
Backwards.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because
backwards.
for a number of reasons. Yeah, but it also doesn't I mean, it seems like he fell into the same trap and the thing shot out at him. But did they like reset the Forrestal thing? And then, so it was like ready to spring again and he ran into it? Like, I kind of don't get what happened.
Or I thought, because the last spiky things we saw were the darts shooting out from the skulls and the walls and the
Yeah.
holes and the eyes. And so you sort of naturally, you go there. You're like, oh, well, he just got, riddled with a bunch of wall darts. But I don't think that's the case.
No,
think
they linger on Forrestal. You get a little shot of Forrestal, like, just before that. Almost
Yeah,
to
so he's
remind you,
back,
like,
whatever,
remember those spikes with the light? Yeah.
But then right after you see the shot of Forrestal, you hear this crazy sound. It sounds like a shotgun. And I wonder if that's the sound of the spikes impaling Satipo.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like this must have happened like while Indy was pulling himself back out of the hole and stuff. Like right after Satipo ran around the corner.
I
don't know.
That right when he does it, there's a really crazy 2 seconds where they show he comes out, he saves himself, he grabs the bullwhip, he spins around. You're like, oh my gosh, he's escaped. And then they show Forrestal, and the music gets really, really down for just
It's like you're in
2
church.
seconds. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my gosh, what a headache. He's dead here, and I still got, and it's like it gets really, I don't know, for some reason it gets really sad for 2 seconds, and then
Right.
he spins and he sees, and Satipo's, skewered in the head, and you're like, oh, not enough time to be sad. They show
He
because
scurried all the way down.
Oh, there's Forrestal again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
really,
we'll
it's
just
like a
have to leave
pick-me-up.
him.
Oh, hey, it's Stupido. And he doesn't even know his name. Like
Right. No,
Adios, Stupido.
I always thought his name was Stupido. Like that,
Yeah.
like it was a joke that he was stupid, so his name was Stupido.
I mean, as
the
abusive
only
as
person
he
who
is.
says his name. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's mean. Gosh, Indy's mean. Yeah, his name's Satipo, and he just calls him Stupido.
Totally.
Adios, Stupido.
Oh, the important thing is he doesn't. I mean, there's no respect, nothing at all. He's just
No.
like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't care what your name is. Like, I'm going to cheer up if I see you dead.
the only important thing is the idol's at your feet, bitch.
I'll be taking that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you can cut that
Adios.
out.
Yeah, I like he just glances at Satipo and immediately starts looking around for the idol.
Yeah, and it's right there.
Well,
He's got it.
greed sharpens greed.
Archaeology sharpens archaeology.
That's right. And giant boulders flatten archaeologists, or try to. This is I remember watching the making of like TV special of this, like I think like during recess, like on a rainy day in grade school, they had it on the big projection screen TV.
God, that's
1982
sadder than the
or
Forrestal
three.
music.
But it was awesome, and I was like, "Oh, I love this movie, and it's all cool, and I know more about this than all my other friends here in school, and that's why I'm so popular, and all the girls like me so much, and I have lots of friends." And but anyway, no, but they talked about like how this was done in like maybe 2 takes, and the guy tripped and he almost got killed and stuff, and like it's made out of plaster and all the stuff that takes you out of the movie and makes you realize it's all just fake.
I
But it
remember
is
that
cool.
same recess where it's like it was a 400-pound boulder, and if he,
Yeah.
he really the trip was not planned, and
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Indy
If he-
really
if he
would
had
have been
fallen down, he
flattened.
would have been killed.
right, which makes you beg the question: why do they have stuntmen?
Oh, like why was he doing this?
I mean,
this stunt?
didn't
Yeah.
he sort of famously do the scene himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, parts of it anyway. Yeah. I mean that's kind of routine, like that. You got to see the actor's face sometimes. But yeah, you're right. Like if it is, on the one hand, it's just running down a hallway. How hard is that? But on the other hand, yeah, he tripped and
Yeah, he
almost got
tripped.
killed. Then they would have to reshoot with Tom Selleck or Eric Stoltz or something.
I'm sure somebody said the same thing. It's not that hard. Just go into, you know where the cave is. Here's the map. Just go get the idol.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Hire a couple of, good locals. They'll take you right there.
Oh, but then this is what I was getting at, like a minute ago, yesterday, I guess. They, this boulder, I saw this movie a dozen times before I figured out, the boulder actually just seals up the temple, like it's done now. Like when it slams behind him, that's like sealing off
that
the
took
thing
me a while,
forever.
too. Yeah.
Unless you go through the roof, since we figured out that there's like a huge hole in the roof. It's not
I
that
never
sealed, I
knew
guess.
that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can kind of see it in the background.
that's
It just, like,
amazing.
sort of closes up that hole that he dives through.
I like I was reading about how they did the sound in this scene, and legendary sound designer Ben Burt did not like the sound that I think it was a fiberglass ball made when it was rolling, and he tried experimenting with all kinds of ways to get a sound that sounded good, and they tried rolling boulders down a hill, and that didn't sound good. And I think eventually he recorded the sound of his Honda Civic driving over gravel.
Oh my gosh,
Jeez.
that's awesome. I'm gonna try that. I have a Honda Civic.
In the
do too.
middle
I'm
of
gonna put
that
them right
whole, in the middle of that whole chase scene, you hear the bullwhip crack, like the boulder thing. You hear it out of nowhere. He's going. You just hear it go. Whoosh.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it
Go
actually the
listen
whip
to
or is it just the sound?
It doesn't. It's you definitely hear the sound of it, but it doesn't
Oh, that's
look.
funny.
He's not like he's not flinging the whip or anything. It kind of doesn't really make sense. It's just sort of ambient chaos noise.
It's
Yeah.
his leitmotif.
You know what? You should become an archaeologist, Pete.
It's not too late.
Yeah.
Looks like fun.
Yeah, clearly all you need to do is you just need to wing it.
He dives through this thing, and he's greeted by the Javitos, who I guess, I don't know, does this mean Satipo was right that they were following them, or were they just there the whole time, or does it matter?
I think maybe this once again sort of proves that Barranca was right because as soon as they knew they were there, he's dead.
It's true. I want to see the scene right before Indy comes out where we'll just say it's Belloc. We're going to see him next minute. I want to see Belloc explaining to the guy behind Barranca, okay, you hold him up, keep him standing upright until I give you the high sign, and then you just let him fall, okay?
Yeah, how long is he holding it? Like, how long do you think he had to hold him there, waiting for him to come out?
Yeah, because, I mean, they probably heard, like, a loud noise from inside the temple, a lot of rumbling and things and screaming and throw me the idol.
Oh, hey, that's him.
Okay, he's coming. He's got to be here any second.
Oh, this is going to be so good.
Don't say anything. Shh, shh, shh.
Hey, it's getting kind of tired. Can you hold him for a little while?
And then whatever you want to say about Barranca, Pete, I know he's your hero, Barranca, and you're not totally wrong. I mean, I can see where that comes from. But whatever you want to say about him, that's like maybe the most brilliant, flat out face plant fall I've ever seen in my life. Like he does not flinch. He just falls flat on the dirt and ground, and he's dead. That's incredible.
He died like he lived. He did not waver.
Nowhere do you see the Javitos. You're like, all you see are sort of silhouettes and close-ups of them, and it's bow and arrows everywhere. Mm-hmm. And you're like, but what are the things? I mean, who's shooting the thing that goes into Barranca's back? Like they're not arrows.
Are they darts?
Yeah, those are.
Well, you kind of think they're like some sort of dart look at poison darts, but you're like, yeah, but which? Like if you look around the whole circle of Javitos.
They've got those long arrows.
Yeah, no one has that weapon.
Well, they used them up on him and then put them away. Now they got their arrows.
Those are some good shots too. They're all like centered around this very tight circle in his back.
And only in his back. Yeah, you want to know exactly how that went down.
Super Bowl haircuts.
Yeah, I think that may be why my mom cut my hair like that around this era.
Sure.
Can you give me the Jovito special, Mom?
Got you archery lessons? Blow dart class? Yeah, so things are about to happen in the next minute, but I don't know. Are we done with this minute?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on. This minute was a real downer for me.
I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, you can't. I can't ask you to talk more. You've lost someone close to you, and we need to be respectful. I'm very sorry. But before we wrap up, we're 2 weeks into this, and I've been wondering. I think I know my answer to this question, but I don't know what your guys' answer is. The three of us are obviously Indiana Jones fans, and we're also fierce Star Wars fans. And as I said at the top of the show, we're we just love this era of movie and the summer blockbusters of our childhood and teenhood. And I'm just wondering, where does Raiders rank with you guys? Either among that kind of movie or all time? Where is this movie for you in your ranking of movies?
Jeez.
For me, it's an easy one.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely something of a film buff, and I love films from all over the world, from all eras. But this is my second favorite movie of all time.
Oh, that's awesome. And
right
that's
after Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think of it as my fallback answer that The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie. And it might as well be. I mean, it is. It's my favorite movie ever. But there's something about Raiders that is, it's like of early... this is like maybe the fourth or fifth summer blockbuster ever. When you think about it, you had Jaws, Star Wars, Close Encounters, Superman,
1941,
1941, Sugarland Express. But yeah, like this is like the tail end. The way I feel of it of summer blockbusters of the birth of summer blockbusters. And this one feels like so from another time, like just inspired by a different kind of movie, and there's something so authentic. And I watched this movie and I feel like I could be watching like The French Connection in some way or something. Like most people could dismiss it as a goofball like kids movie with melting people in it, but I don't know, there's something so cool about it. I'm not answering the question at all. I'm not saying where it ranks in my in my list, but it's it's in the top 3. I know that much.
What's your other of your top 3? What was the third?
Probably Star Wars. Empire and Star Wars are neck and neck. I mean, I can't argue with anybody saying that either of them is the best movie ever.
Yeah.
Because they both are. Is Raiders third then? Boy, now I'm thinking, oh geez.
That's why I sort of put it above Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Hey, get off this podcast. Raiders is third.
Okay, so then I assume that this is your favorite of all Spielberg movies, period.
It is for me.
I think it is for me too. Well, the Close Encounters is super. I'll say this. Okay, Raiders. Okay, Close Encounters. You could make I could argue with myself that I love Close Encounters as much or possibly more. But Raiders of the Lost Ark is maybe the only movie other than Jaws. Jesus, he made Jaws, didn't he? Gosh, that's a good movie. Okay, Jaws and Raiders are the only ones, I think, of his movies that have zero sentiment, I think, or like cheesy sentiment. Like there's no moment of like wistful childhood awe. Like even if it like that works really well in Close Encounters, there's like an hour of that at the end of that movie. And it works really well, but there's still sort of a sense of like, okay. Childhood wonder. I get it. There's none of that in Jaws or Raiders. And for me, a jaded jerk, that makes it very cool.
I would say, well, there's no question it's my favorite Spielberg movie. I'm kind of the Star Wars is the best movie ever.
Yeah.
Variety. Yeah. And I understand all the other people who really like Star Wars are like, no, Empire is a better movie than that. Yeah, but it's much more in depth and there's a lot more going on and it's not as sort of black and white. But Star Wars, I don't know. Star Wars is, I don't know. Without Star Wars, it just starts with Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I probably, just as a kid, almost identify just sort of like straight up hero status. Like, when you're that impressionable 10 and you think you're like, it's the bullwhip thing and his hat and, he's running around and I it's more, I don't know. I could look more on the screen and be like, hey, I want to find out more about that or what that guy's doing, or I can't wait to the next one. For some reason, it felt, it affected me more than it would like there's Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon, and I know that he's cool.
Well, I remember the argument that you and I had, in probably the mid 80s or something. We were having this argument about Han Solo versus Indiana Jones. And your entire argument was, Indiana Jones sits down and like a cloud of dust comes off him. And that was it. That was your entire
I stand
argument.
by that.
Yeah, no,
30 years
that
later,
works.
whatever. That's fine.
I actually understand that completely.
Yeah, I basically I just dropped the whip like Satipo.
Adios, senor.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. That works for me. Yeah, if Han Solo is a little dustier, maybe.
Well, there you have it. His name's Indiana Jones.
Well, listen, you guys. Congratulations. We're 2 weeks into this thing. 10 minutes. I'm having a good time.
This has been a fun 10 minutes of my life.
Well, and
Yeah.
everybody that both Pete and I like has died. So it's been a rough, rocky road. Some tough minutes out of the 10.
We knew it wasn't going to be easy.
I'm touched you're on the Barranca train now, Jerry.
When we started, I was like, who the hell's Barranca?
I want to bring something up, but then I don't know if Jerry knows it. I never know what Jerry knows. I'm sure Pete probably knows. I'll save it.
Well, what is it? You can cut it out.
Well, that's a good teaser. That's a good teaser. I'm coming back next week to hear.
Well, it's not going to be next week. It's a few weeks from now. It's like a couple months from now or something.
I'm coming back 2 months from now to hear.
All right. Well, before that, when people are waiting for a couple of months to find out what I was going to say, what else can they do, Pete?
If you like the show, please go to IndianaJonesMinute.com. You can find all of our episodes there. You can subscribe to the podcast via iTunes. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. If you like the show, please subscribe. Please leave us a review. And we'd love to hear from you if you want to drop us a line.
And please spend your weekend lighting a candle for Barranca or Satipo, whichever side of that debate you're on. Is it even a debate? We love them both. They're both gone too soon. Stay with your loved ones. Do what you have to do. And then come back on Monday for Minute 11 of Raiders of the Lost Ark on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Adios, Stupido.
Adios, Stupido. I'm sorry.